Hey everyone, welcome back to Xploit. Right now we are in the 1.16.100 version, and that means that we have access to the very fantastic sign breaking bug, and well, we just simply have not updated yet. So yes, 1.16.200 is out already. Let me just quickly demonstrate the sign breaking bug. So we can basically place a sign on the side of that sign, and normally, you know, that wouldn't work because there's a block in that space. But when I do, it just gets replaced. Why is this useful? Because we can break tons of Bedrock. And so why are we in 1.1600? What do we still want to do? Well, basically, we want to remove the Bedrock floor of a slime farm perimeter. Because what we're going to do is we're going to make a 22 chunk slime farm. With the increased spawning radius in 1.16.100 for simulation ranges 6 and higher, you can actually make use of more slime chunks than before. And we are on simulation range of 6 on the Xploit server. And well, yeah. Now the basic idea here is that we're just using the same slime chunk cluster as many other servers. So this slime chunk cluster in particular was researched by Linlan, I believe. So it's Origin 0110. And he's a very well-known player. And he did a lot of research on this, so I'm going to link him in the description, of course. He's a Chinese technical microplayer. And yeah, so we are going to use this cluster in particular. And yeah, it is quite far out in the world, so you actually have to do quite a bit of traveling to get here and back there, because 140,000 blocks is nothing to laugh about. Right, so here is the slime chunk cluster in question. As you can see, there are quite a lot of chunks bundled here. And we can make use of 22 of them. Now the center one should be this one, I believe. It could be this one as well, I'm not sure. But we can basically make use of the entire simulation 6 spawning range. And when we do that, we can fit exactly 22 chunks into the spawning range. And that would be pretty nice. Here is also a graph I made, or rather just a little representation of what we're going to do. So I can toggle this very quickly. This is the perimeter shape that we want to do. So we want to make a hexagon, and when I just remove that, you can see all these slime chunks. So in green are these slime chunks, and our center location is this one indeed, it seems. And yeah, we think that it's going to look pretty nice. You might already have noticed, but we on Xploit have an affinity for hexagons. And in fact, I'm pretty sure there's a video out there called Why Hexagons Are the Bestagons, and you should definitely watch that because hexagons are the absolute best. Back to our location. So I believe Obi built a temporary gold and XP farm here. Well, of course, just for the XP, so that we can repair our tools. And when we can repair our tools, well, of course, we don't have to travel all the way back, which would be a pain because we're like 140,000 blocks out. And what we also did is that we just temporarily marked out a 11 × 11 chunk area. And I wasn't there last time that happened, but apparently someone also marked out these slime chunks, which is pretty cool. Of course, as you saw in the representation I made before, we're not going to dig out the entire 11 × 11 chunks, but rather only the hexagon area. Now I'm just going to go back to the nether to show you how we actually get to this location. Ow. Alright. Anyway, let me quickly show you how we actually get to spawn and back. So what we are basically doing is that we're using some drugged horses that we bred. I'm going to go into detail with this later more, but those horses are insanely fast. So they are about 40 blocks per second, and you can just see how fast that is. It's crazy. And just to put that into perspective, one block in Minecraft is a meter. So when you're traveling 40 blocks per second, you are traveling about 140 kilometers per hour, or I don't remember the conversion to miles per hour. I think it was around 90 or 80 miles per hour, so that is crazy fast. Those horses are pretty much a race car, and it's crazy. Anyway, what we're doing, of course, is that we're using the nether scale to travel faster. So, of course, 1 block in the nether is 8 blocks in the overworld, and we basically just ride on the nether roof with those horses. And there is many reasons for that. First of all, you don't need to build anything, it's absolutely free. And second of all, we cannot really build anything on the nether roof, so we wouldn't be able to build a ice boat highway anyway. And well, just having a horse right on top of that works because horses are entities. And we can just speed along. Now it is still pretty slow because you have to travel 17,000 blocks, but it still ends up being only around a 7 to 8 minute travel. And that may sound like a long time, but considering you're traveling about 140,000 blocks, I'd say it's a pretty sizable number, and it's pretty acceptable. Anyway, I'm not actually going to ride back right now because I do believe I have everything I need over at the slime farm location. Now, we are of course taking care of this now because we can't really do it later. The sign Bedrock breaking bug is probably the most convenient Bedrock breaking ever in the history of Minecraft, both Java and Bedrock edition. It is just so ridiculously easy, and when we update to 1.16.200, that bug is patched of course, and we will not be able to do that, so we want to take care of this. Because we are a server and not a realm, and well, even more so I am hosting the server myself, we can choose when to update and well, basically not update, and that is pretty great. So yeah, we can take as long as we want, but still we want to take care of this quickly, and the reason for that is that not everyone on the server has access to a version switcher. So version switchers are still pretty limited on Bedrock edition. They are unofficial of course, and you can only realistically switch versions on, well, desktop, that means Linux and Windows, and Android maybe, but only really conveniently on Linux and, well, Windows 10. Actually, I should probably head back because I'm not sure if I even want to do the slime thing now. Well, I'll do it soon of course, but what I want to do for now is first show you how this horse breeding works, because I think that should be the main topic of this episode. And well, I'll probably include some slime stuff in the next episode, or maybe even in this one, but to be frank, it's really just a lot of grinding, and it's not very interesting to watch that. So I'd rather explain to you and demonstrate how this speed horse breeding works. But for that, I first have to travel back to the Nether Hub, and then from the Nether Hub to Birch Island. Birch Island is Old Guy's and DrJanCyan's residence, and that's also where the horse breeding is being done. And well, so I'll see you in 7 minutes when I finish this ride. Oh my god, that confuses me. Yeah, so in 7 minutes, when this ride is done across the nether roof, I guess I will see you. I believe the nether hub, oh yeah, there it is. So the nether hub is right here, and like I said, it is a pretty long ride. And yeah, so basically, now we just go to Birch Island, and I don't have to even dismount from this horse, I can literally just ride there. As you can see, it is pretty fast, and we should be there any second. Yep, that's the location. Alright, so welcome to Birch Island, and actually I have to be careful because that horse can run off very fast, so I'm just going to mount it. And this is just the underground area where you arrive with the portal, but if we go upstairs, there's a little birch farming area. You can ignore that, but yeah, birch is cool. Anyway, this is our horse breeding area. So I'm just going to get this horse into this boat for now, and now I can actually explain how this speed horse breeding works. So there are a couple of things to know here. Well, of course there are the basics, so you breed a horse by giving 2 horses each a golden carrot. And well, of course horses have a set speed. Now, the speed of the child depends on the speed of the parents. I believe it takes both the speed of both parents and then a third random variable, and that will equate the speed of the child. However, there is something that the devs did not take into account, and that is the fact that for some reason, when you give the horses a speed effect, so we can do that with a speed potion, then that value, that added speed from the effect, would also be taken into consideration as the speed value when breeding. So essentially by doing this we can repeatedly breed horses over and over, and well, in doing so, we will end up with very fast horses over time. And yeah, so like I told you before, this one is about 40 blocks per second, so I believe it did 500 blocks in 12 seconds. And just imagine that, 500 blocks in 12 seconds is pretty insane. And even though people thought it was going to be patched in 1.1600, this method of breeding horses for speed still works in 1.1600 and, as far as we know, even 1.16.200. So now is probably a good time to get those speed horses if you want to, because yeah, those are pretty useful. So how we usually do it is that we have 2 horses in a pen, and the horses are inside of a boat, because you would not believe how fast these horses are. Letting them run wild is a pretty crazy idea, and we just splash them with a potion of speed, and then we breed them. So we give each a golden carrot, and the baby should appear any second, and we push that one into the boat. And then we wait for the breeding cooldown to reset. We do it again, and I know it sounds very cruel, but we then kill those parents. We accelerate the growth of the horses with sugar, because you can accelerate growth of horses by feeding them, and then we breed those. So I know it's not a very ethical process, but given the speed of the horses that we get in the end, I'd say it's more or less worth it. And you know, there are no consequences to inbreeding in Minecraft, at least not yet, and I hope it stays that way. Apart from the fact that pretty much all of the horses should have diabetes now because of all the sugar that we are feeding them, you can still say that, well, it is worth it. And I'm just going to ride back to spawn very quickly to, well, demonstrate to you that that is in fact true, and that horse almost ran off again. So yeah, like I said, 40 blocks per second, it is pretty crazy. I'm just going to ride back to the nether hub for now, and then I can demonstrate to you in spawn how fast this actually is. And now we can demonstrate the actual speed of these horses in the spawn perimeter. So you can see I'm running around at a pretty fast speed. Now if you just compare this to a skeleton horse, you can see that it is not very fast. And, well, in general, I never really... That one is running off again. I never really liked horses for traveling too much, because, well, they were slow, and they have significant drawbacks. So, for example, you need a lot more space, and you cannot cross gaps as easily, and many more reasons. But with this, I would say that many of these concerns are pretty much eliminated, except for the fact that, unlike Elytra, you cannot just fly around. And even better, in 1.1600, and I believe in 1.16.200 as well, there's a funny bug that horses don't take any fall damage. So if I just ride up here, and I just, well, drop down, no fall damage taken at all. So you can freely take high leaps, and you will not take any fall damage at all. Now this is something pretty silly that Kai built up. It's basically just a ramp, and then you land onto the slime. I know it's not very technical, but it's fun. Right, so now that we're out of the spawn perimeter, I just climbed up the scaffolding with that horse. I know it's not very convenient, but I did it anyway. Now I can demonstrate to you how fast this actually is. So, yeah. And you can very easily cross rivers and stuff, which is pretty useful. So if I just ride across here, I can just... Okay, I failed that one. But you can mostly just jump across rivers, which is pretty crazy. And even more so... what I really like as an example is getting on top of the savanna, the highland savanna, I don't know how to call it, you know, these really tall savanna biomes, and when you get up there, it's pretty fun just riding on top and then jumping across here. So for example, I can easily cross this gap. If you would try to do this with a normal horse, then you would most certainly fall down and either land in a river or take a lot of fall damage. This will not happen here, so I can just cross it, the gap, and with that speed it's pretty much no problem at all. And even less because, well, you're not taking any fall damage, apparently. And yeah, that is very nice. This is probably not the most interesting thing to listen to, but it is definitely extremely interesting to try it yourself and also extremely fun. So I could really ride around on that horse for hours and not get bored because it's just so, you know, it's a lot of fun. and even more so right now in 1/1600 and 200, I believe we can enjoy that, well, we take no fall damage. So just jumping down that perimeter is a lot of fun. Let me do that right now. Yeah, that's pretty anxiety inducing otherwise, but right now it's just, well, you know, the horse is not taking any damage, so that's pretty fun. Alright, I want to talk a little bit more about other projects that we are doing on the server right now, especially related to the 1.16 update, well, the 1.1600 update. And first, before I go to our fortress farm location, I am going to go to the end dimension, because one thing we're also planning to do in 1.1600 is using the sign deletion bug to also delete the bedrock around end gateways. Because of course, then we can access the end gateways without any inner pearls, and that will be a whole lot more convenient. We still don't have anything built up yet, but our builders already came up with a, well, very cool end hub design, and I can't wait to build that. But yeah, we have some stuff to do, because right now we still have to, well, make sure that none of these islands regenerate. We can do that pretty easily by having, well, one endstone block near each gateway. But, well, for now, that is something that is not a priority. What is, however, a priority is bedrock breaking once again. I know, that is pretty much our top priorities in 1.1600. It's just breaking bedrock again and again and again and again. And, well, we are going to head to our fortress farm site now. And, well, we have a pretty interesting design for a fortress farm, or at least an idea of how to design it. Rufus and I already designed 1/3 of it, and, well, we're going to get to it later probably. But the important part now is getting rid of the bedrock in the perimeter. So what we are doing is that we are going to clear out a perimeter of the size of the simulation range of 6, and by that I mean that we're going to remove the roof and the floor. Although I believe we might be leaving the first layer of the floor. I'm not really sure about that, but yeah, I'm going to cut to the point where I actually arrive at the location, because this is a very long ride. Oh, nice. So a few thousand blocks later, in both directions, we are now at the fortress farm site. Now, as you can see, there's already a lot of bedrock from the roof being removed. And, well, I'm not sure if there is already a staircase or some scaffolding, or, well, any kind of vertical drop shaft dug down, looks like there is, to the fortress itself. But the fortress has some very special properties. I'm not going to go into detail with it now, but there's a reason why we chose this fortress in particular. So as much as I hate to admit it, a few months have passed, and to be honest, I've also gotten quite burned out with the game. So I spent a lot of my free time playing other games such as Genshin Impact instead of Minecraft. And, well, I hope to dedicate more time in a few months once again, then I'll be more free to spend my time on Minecraft. But yeah, as things stand right now, I don't have much free time. That being said, it seems that other members did have some time. And, well, of course, when you spread it out over a few months, it shouldn't take too long to, well, you shouldn't spend too much time every day breaking bedrock. But of course, not everyone just simply wants to do that every day. It's like a chore more than anything. So, but yeah, a lot of bedrock has been broken, and there is just that left over here. And I must say, that is quite impressive. So some other members will join later, and we will finish this part. Honestly, I could do it right now in about 10 minutes, but still I'm going to wait for the others, because, well, it is something pretty cool that we all want to witness. Alright, looks like that was it. That's very nice. All with one piece. Oh yeah, okay, there's one piece missing. So I guess we are not really missing out on the last. That was it, nice. Okay, now it's going like this, maybe. Let's just leave it there. But that seems to be the entire bedrock roof, which I've got to say is really nice to look at. The floor is less of a concern, because the roof is really nice when you have it removed so that you can, you know, just look up. But below you is not all that necessary, especially because you cannot use any rockets below Y0. What you can, however, take a look at is all the signs breaking, which is very nice indeed. There's some still left back there, but The really nice thing about this Bedrock breaking is that we can still recover all of these signs and repurpose them for further Bedrock breaking. That being said, we will not really be able to make much use of this sign Bedrock breaking, because despite there being 116.200 and 116.210 by now, we still are on 11600 and it's long outdated, so it's about time we update. That being said, we still have the slime farm perimeter to do, and that is also going to be a project that we are going to have to undertake soon enough. So a few days have passed and we're actually taking care of this surprisingly quickly. We're also removing 3 extra blocks outside of each slime chunk because, of course, as you may know, mobs spawn in the northwest corner in Minecraft Bedrock Edition, so we need some extra room for the big slimes. And another reason why we would go out 3 blocks and not 2, I believe 2 should be enough, is that, well, because we are only breaking the bedrock where the actual slime chunks are, that means that we will have some of these exposed sides of bedrock. And should we choose to, we can always cover them up with some specific design, since of course the perimeter floor is going to be a specific design, and we can just match that and make a transition that goes from the border into the void, so to speak. Anyway, I'm in the process of finishing up the last chunk, and by finishing up I mean excluding the very last layer that is going to be void. So if we go over here, as you can see, I broke a lot of bedrock using signs already, and I will do the last ones. And there we go, that was the last of the bedrock on this specific layer. We still have the very last layer to do, and for the very last layer we're going to have to take some specific precautions in order to make sure that we don't have any unfortunate accidents when we actually do completely mine out this perimeter in the future. And those precautions would be that although we are going to completely remove all of this bedrock on the last layer, we are going to replace it with some other block, preferably just a simple block like stone or cobblestone, and then put a layer of water on top. The layer of water on top is going to shield the blocks below from any explosions that might occur when we are going to bomb out the perimeter. If we are going to bomb it out and not dig it out, I still think it would be preferable to bomb it out. And then once we're done with that, we can easily remove the water, and we can then also easily remove the blocks underneath. That would be the very final step, but until we're doing that will be a long time. And as I've mentioned before, we're only breaking this bedrock as a precaution, because this bedrock breaking method we have right now is the easiest we have ever had, and we do not want to miss this opportunity. Anyway, I know I talked a lot in this episode. This is more of a filler episode or sort of a progress update episode. And honestly, if you skip this one, you probably wouldn't miss much, because a lot of these things would be explained again in a future episode. But I still hope that you enjoyed it, and some people have been asking for some exploit videos, and I think a progress update video is better than no video at all. And that way you also get to know what we're actually doing on the server. And remember always that no videos of a server doesn't mean a server is dead, because many people just don't have time to make videos. But anyway, I think you got the point, and well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe for more of these, and I will see you around. Bye!